Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts video. Today for you guys, we have an absolute Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory news blowout. This would probably have to be the most amount of Melody of Memory information we've received out of the few drops that we've had since June, since the initial reveal. A bunch of different outlets have had the opportunity to sit down with Tetsuya Nomura as well as Masanobu Suzui and talk furthermore about Melody of Memory. There is some juicy stuff here. There is just so much that I have to go over in this video. Translations are still currently in the works, so there will no doubt be another video talking furthermore about all of this information. When I say multiple different outlets, there is just so many different outlets. IGN, Game Informer, Dengeki, Famitsu. A lot of them have the same information, but some of them also have different unique individual pieces as well, so expect a lot of information to be rolling out. We've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about in this video, so without further ado, let's just dive straight into the thick of it. Coming out of the Famitsu interview, thanks to a user over on Twitter that goes by the name of Audrey, we have the correct English translations right here. Thank you so much for that, Audrey. This is Tetsuya Nomura talking about essentially the future. I thought we'd talk about this piece first, as it probably is the most interesting, and then we'll jump into the Melody of Memory stuff. However though, the interviewer said, in regards to the series from here on out, the Darkseeker saga ended with KH3. However, not all mysteries have been resolved yet, and the secret movie at the end of the game seems to have new developments. How will the Kingdom Hearts series progress from here on out? Nomura said, well, 2022 is the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. He went on to say, so we'll just have to do our best for the 20th anniversary. I've already shifted my thinking to the next installment, and the Kingdom Hearts team is already starting on something new. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is a game that comes out before the next installment, so the main staff was able to assist with that. In regards to what we will announce from here on out, everything will probably surprise you, so please look forward to that. Now, keep in mind, within the Kingdom Hearts 3 Ultimania, Tetsuya Nomura did mention that before we get the next major Kingdom Hearts installment, which is thought of to be that of Kingdom Hearts 4, it may not be KH4, but the next major Kingdom Hearts game, he did mention that there is going to be one game between KH3 and that installment, that of course being Melody of Memory. So seeing a recent interview with Tetsuya Nomura reiterating this once again, it's good to know that they are still on track with only having one title between KH3 and the next major installment. It seems to be that 2022, which is obviously the 20th anniversary of the Kingdom Hearts series, will hopefully be the year that we may actually end up getting that installment, just sort of from what he's saying right here. Of course, whatever the next major installment will be for the next Kingdom Hearts franchise will obviously be exciting and surprising, but it does get me really excited with Tetsuya Nomura saying everything will probably surprise you. I know a lot of people are clenching onto the hope of perhaps maybe getting a Yozora focused game. There is also that possibility of the whole DDD2 thing that people have been throwing around as well, having another sort of split game where we're playing as two different characters throughout the extent of the story. Whatever this might end up being though, I am so excited, and to know that the main Kingdom Hearts team is already fully in the works of the next installment is an exciting thing too. This is actually a piece of information we have sort of known for a little while now, but again, to get that reiteration is extremely nice. So moving on over to the Melody of Memory stuff. Once again, this is translated by Audrey, and this one's actually coming from the PlayStation Japan interview. The interviewer said, in the trailer, there's a person wearing a black coat. If we consider the acronym of Melody of Memory to MoM, to Master of Masters, then many must come to the conclusion that this man is the Master of Masters. Nomura said that is also all according to plan. However, we did have an issue thinking of a title for this game because we have the title Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories already. The word memory would overlap. Since we didn't think any other would fit, we decided on this title. However, at the very least, we didn't use the plural word memories and instead chose the singular word memory instead. So yeah, this has been a thing that has been floating around within the community towards discussions of the actual title of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, the actual acronym standing as MoM, which is the same for the Master of Masters. Of course, in that first initial trailer, we do see a cloaked figure about to kind of pull down his hood, which many of us have again thought that is the Master of Masters. This, I guess, sort of points towards that fact of it actually being the Master of Masters, with Tetsuya Nomura saying this is also all according to plan, which means that it is intentional that this game is called Melody of Memory to further connect to that of the Master of Masters. Now, look, whether or not we're actually going to be getting the whole face reveal or whatnot of the Master of Masters in this game, I really don't know. I'd more so like to think this would happen in the next major installment, and not so much in a smaller title like Melody of Memory, keeping in mind this is still very important to that of the ongoing story, but to get a massive reveal like that in a game like this would be a little bit surprising. I do hope it happens, because that would be a major takeaway and cool thing to happen in Melody of Memory. But there is a specific but yes, the Master of Masters does connect to that of Melody of Memory, and to also know that we are going to be getting further information and stuff, developments and whatnot towards the Master of Masters in this game is probably one of the most exciting factors. At this point, he is definitely the character that has the most mystery surrounding him and is without a doubt the most elusive, so cannot wait to see exactly what the developments behind this actually do entail. Tetsuya Nomura confirmed in the Famitsu interview that there is going to be no secret movie for Melody of Memory. Nomura said this time there are no secret movies, etc., so everything that is drawn in this volume is all. I would like you to play and check the contents. Keep in mind that not every single Kingdom Hearts game has a secret movie of sorts where there are some prerequisites in order to unlock a additional movie. For the likes of something like Kingdom Hearts Days or Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, those games didn't actually have secret movies, although I know most Kingdom Hearts games do end up having something. Yeah, Melody of Memory won't end up having one. I think there's probably going to be enough Melody of Memory, and especially furthermore knowing that Master of Masters is going to have some sort of connection to the game as well, where it probably doesn't need a secret movie, but this totally does make sense. I wasn't overly expecting some kind of massive major secret movie to be in MoM, just considering it isn't a major Kingdom Hearts title. We got the confirmation as to how many worlds will appear throughout Melody of Memory. On top of that too, also letting us know exactly what the game length is going to be, just story mode wise. So coming from Famitsu, the interviewer asked how many worlds are there. Suzui said there are 47 normal worlds, 16 of which are Kingdom Hearts worlds and 31 of which are Disney worlds. There are also 33 places called Dark Holes that contain only boss songs. Now you may be thinking, that is a damn lot, like 47 total worlds. I think with them saying normal worlds, that just means the total amount of worlds, of course 16 being the original OG Kingdom Hearts worlds and 31 being Disney. There aren't actually that many worlds throughout the entirety of Kingdom Hearts, so what I think this is more so meaning is, while, yeah, pretty much all of the worlds that we've been throughout the Kingdom Hearts games, for the most part, will likely appear in Melody of Memory, we'll probably also get different variations of these same worlds that are likely being chucked into this total world count. They also mentioned that there are 33 places called Dark Holes that only contain boss songs. We've actually seen some of these Dark Holes appear on the world map within trailers that we've seen so far, which is really cool. I guess that means that there are about 33 boss fights throughout this game. Again, it doesn't mean 33 individual boss fights. It could do, but not confirming that fact. Some of these could be the same boss, but just simply a different variation of which. The interviewer went on to say that's a lot of worlds. Suzui then replied, that's right. If you just go through the story and reach the ending in the world trip being the story mode, it will take about 10 hours, and I think it is a volume that you can easily enjoy. Of course, there is also a mode where you can play the songs you got there repeatedly with music select to aim for a high score, play online against friends and computers, or double play with one screen where you can enjoy cooperative play with your friends. Therefore, it is a content that you can enjoy for a long time. So yeah, just the straight run through the story mode of the game will take you about 10 hours, which if we look at it, is actually the shortest Kingdom Hearts title out of the bunch. And yes, that's even including the DS titles like Days or Recoded. Even those games generally come in, if you do a straightforward run through the story, not completionist aspects or anything, but those usually come in at anywhere from like 20 to 25 hours. Most Kingdom Hearts games come in at about that time on the clock, so this would be the shortest. However though, do keep in mind there are a lot of different modes that will be included in Melody of Memory. I know this has been a big talking point just with the price point of the game at the moment, but there's a lot of content to be had here, especially with all of the online modes. We'll also follow up with some collection aspects real soon with another piece of news, but there's a lot of extra additional completionist aspects aiming for high scores. The content in this game isn't just the story stuff, although that is going to be a big portion. A lot more of the content is found in the additional modes. So talking about this collection aspect, as we were talking about in the analysis video and as we saw in the most recent trailer, there are going to be these collectible cards that you'll be able to pick up along the way. Don't really know how we get those, but I'd say by completing specific objectives or missions or certain songs on certain difficulties, you'll get different cards. We can also synthesize these as well. But Suzui, in this piece of information from Famitsu, did actually mention that there are more than 800 collection cards. Now, I do know that there is no trophy for collecting all of those, because that would be a bit ridiculous. That's a lot of cards to collect. But if you want that true 100% completion, then you're gonna have to get all 800 cards. Their hope right here is that players can enjoy Melody of Memory for quite a few years to come, just with all of the additional modes that are input into the game, with the replayability of course, the online play. The Famitsu interviewer then asked if there would be any DLC plans going forward. Suzui mentioned there are no plans for DLC. The fact that no DLC is prepared is a sign that we want as many people as possible to play one title with confidence and for a long time. I would like you to enjoy the Kingdom Hearts series with people around you, such as your family and friends, and through the internet. So yeah, no DLC plans. I was actually kind of thinking that what they could do with this game in the sense of a DLC setup is, yeah, additional songs like the Famitsu interviewer was asking right here, or at least maybe a critical mode. We know that there's only 3 difficulties in this game, beginner, standard, and proud. So we were kind of thinking maybe critical will be a free DLC update that will come shortly afterwards. Sort of doesn't really make overly too much sense though, because I think that in the sense of proud and also the playstyles that we'll talk about next, it seems like that difficulty factor is already going to be there with the already input difficulty modes and additional modes there. So yeah, I don't really think it's overly too necessary. Don't expect any DLC, because as of right now, they don't have any plans to do so. Of course, this could be subject to change later on down the track. They might get enough sort of requests and feedback to bring in some additional content, but for the time being, no DLC. Also within the Famitsu interview, they talked about certain play styles, being that there are 3 different play styles. Now, what I am currently unsure of is if the playstyles coincide with the difficulty, so meaning if the one button style, for example, is just simply beginner mode and then so on and so forward for the 2 other difficulties, or if you select the difficulty at first and then you select a playstyle. I personally believe these are 2 separate different things, so let's read through these styles. The first one is normal style, most basic playstyle. It can be played with standard operations using a few buttons. One button style, play style that allows you to play all actions with one button. Recommended for those who want to concentrate on the rhythm without being distracted by too many input operations. And then there is performer style, a play style in which more buttons are used than in normal play and complex input can be challenged for those who prefer a more technical operation by pressing the assigned button. The reason why I do believe that these are 2 different things is you could have the one button style activated and then be playing a song on proud mode. If you are playing on one button, it will overall make the difficulty factor easier, of course, but you'll still have an extra edge if you're playing on proud, with more different nodes flying down the music, I guess you could call it highway or whatever you want to call it, with only having to press one button. I think this would be a cool thing for them to be two separate things, just because you could really get a lot of different variation going. Imagine playing on performer style, then on proud mode, having just a bunch of different inputs, but with also having to use multiple different buttons at the same time. So I do hope these are two separate different things to create more variation in the game. Nomura also confirmed within the Famitsu interview that Kairi is going to be the storyteller for this game. It was originally planned that Cherthi was meant to be the commentator, but at a later point, Tetsuya Nomura decided to change this and make it Kairi, just so that it's more fitting for the whole idea of what the story entails, diving into the heart of Kairi. Nomura said that's right, this time Kairi will talk about the past as a storyteller. So yeah, as we saw in that most recent trailer, with her reiterating what happened at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 with Xehanort, we're going to be hearing a lot more of that, but to do with past previous Kingdom Hearts events. Suzui confirmed that the box art illustration is in fact going to be the illustration that we do see on the main menu of Melody of Memory. Suzui mentioned illustration is on the title screen. He also mentioned in this piece of news that there were about 2 different revisions of the box art before they came to a final decision. Suzui gave us a confirmation as to exactly how many parties or teams will be in Melody of Memory. Now, of course, we know that we are going to be able to play as multiple teams. We have the Sora, Donald, and Goofy team. We have the Arquis, Terra, and Ventus team, the Roxas, Axel, and Xion team, etc., etc. So Suzui mentioned there are 4 different parties, each of which have fixed members, so it's not possible to organize the members freely, meaning that you can't essentially have like Sora, Xion, and Aqua, right? They are preset. And the main character that you'll be running down the track with in the middle between the 2 will be preset as well, so you can't choose to play as Donald with having Sora on the left and Goofy on the right. I know there's a little bit of confusion around this, so nice to get the confirmation. However, depending on the world, there are unique guest members. One of the 2, other than the leader, will take the place of the Disney character, or the king will come to help as the 4th party member. So yes, Mickey is going to be able to come in and actually assist the player at certain points throughout these songs, and he will act as a 4th additional party member, being able to rack up additional points for your score. IGN also managed to get a few new scoops on Melody of Memory as well. I thought I'd bring up the Thet Rhythm Kingdom Hearts information, because this is really interesting. This gives us an idea as to when the initial plan or idea of this game actually began, and it happened all the way back in 2015. So this is coming from IGN. Mentioned right here, the idea for Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory dates back to the release of Thet Rhythm Dragon Quest that released in 2015. Like Thet Rhythm Final Fantasy before it, TDQ is a rhythm action game set to the music from across the entire Dragon Quest series. We thought, well, Kingdom Hearts has a lot of really great music in that series as well. Why don't we do a Thet Rhythm Kingdom Hearts, recalls Suzui. Franchise director Tetsuya Nomura declines the pitch at the time, but Disney resurrected the idea sometime later. By that time, Nomura felt things were lined up for Kingdom Hearts to swing its Keyblade in the direction of an action rhythm game. This game itself is very similar in concept to Thet Rhythm, the underlying concept of using music to look back across the whole series. As a result, you can expect to play along to the music drawn from the entire Kingdom Hearts timeline, but in change from Thet Rhythm, Melody of Memory is a 3D game which provides its own unique field compared to its spiritual predecessors. In case you guys don't know as well, like we were talking about in a previous video, Masanobu Suzui is the director of all other previous Thet Rhythms, so it only makes sense that he is working on Melody of Memory. But yes, the pitch towards a Thet Rhythm Kingdom Hearts game was denied by Tetsuya Nomura because I guess as it's explained here, during the time he felt like it wasn't right. With how the story setup is working in Melody of Memory, I'm glad that Tetsuya Nomura decided to hold off on the idea back in 2015 and come back to it for a release after Kingdom Hearts 3, just with it making more sense from a story standpoint. Thet Rhythm games are not canon to their games that they are playing the music from, either Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy, but this is a bit different here with Melody of Memory, as it is actually canon to the ongoing Kingdom Hearts story. Also, another really cool, interesting little fact right here is the idea as to how a rhythm-based Kingdom Hearts game would look was actually inspired through the Kingdom Hearts 15th Anniversary Japanese Music Box website, where Sora is seen running through past memories in his Kingdom Hearts 1 variation, running down a musical looking track very similar to how we actually see it in the current Melody of Memory. So that's a nice little fun fact that came from Famitsu as well. Now the very final thing is we have a few new screenshots to talk about. Yes, there's just so much to get through here, but we're almost done, fellas. So the first one is the actual music track selector. We haven't seen this in any of the current trailers, but this is the menu where you can go back and replay through any of the songs that you've played throughout the main story. We also have two screenshots from what looks like Riku's memory dive. We have a screenshot of Atlantica. We actually haven't seen this world in action whatsoever. This is actually taken from the exclusive Nintendo Switch 8-player free-for-all mode. We have a screenshot of the 8-player free-for-all mode leaderboard. As soon as you finish your game, this is the post-game results. And you can see that dude sitting up there on the top, coming in at first place with that triple S ranking, whereas like everybody else below him's all got E's, and then there's two dudes down the bottom on F's. I can already picture it right now, man. There's gonna be some absolute sweat lords that will be playing this game. You can also see how many players got goods, misses, excellent, or rainbow-esque excellent. I guess the rainbow variation of excellent is like absolutely spot on, one-to-one timing with the prompt. You can see that the top player right here has 173 rainbow-based excellence going on right there. What an absolute sweat lord. So you'll truly be able to compare with your friends who is the top tier MLG lord here, with the statistics that it actually shows on the post-game results. A new image of Hollow Bastion Radiant Garden. Again, it's so strange to see KH1 Sora hanging out in KH2 Hollow Bastion Radiant Garden, but yeah, very nice. A new picture of the co-op mode. Some actions or prompts you will actually have to jump to activate, or of course glide towards to activate. And finally, a little UI pic of Traverse Town. So that right there is a massive news blowout towards Melody of Memory, my lord. And we're not even done yet. There's still a lot to come, but thought I'd just do this for the first wave of information. You can tell this is thick boy because we're already in the 20-minute mark right now. So hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. Please do share your thoughts and opinions towards all of this goodness in the comment section down below. However guys, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and I'll catch you dudes in the next one. Peace.